I landed in the middle of winter, and when the driver came to pick me up, he looked at me and said, "Did you not know where you were going?"
I just turned 21 when I went to Germany as an au pair. And of course, there's the culture shock. I was expecting it. I mean, I'd taken some time to prepare, to know how Germany is. I was looking forward to the snow. Went to school, learned fairly quickly the German language.
There's the cards for the Kenyans and the Africans. You will be told the function starts at 11.
Yeah.
Because we know you will actually show up at 2. But the real people who actually show up at 2 will get a card inviting them at 2 o'clock as the start time.
Although I spoke German, it wouldn't help me so much in Norway. I had to learn also Norwegian. So meaning I had to go to school the first 6 months. The reason I migrated to Norway is because of marriage.
I ran from Kenya. Kenyans, we are marathoners and they are short runners. So he ran all the way from Jamaica and we met in Texas.
Hello everyone, Happy New Year and welcome again to another installment of Diaspora Life show. My name is Chris Omalwa.
And my name is Pasil Telewa.
How was your Christmas?
Christmas was amazing. Yeah, I spent it out of town, with family and friends. I'm so glad I got to see the new year. I can't believe another year just started. Can you believe it?
It is. But remember, you know, like they say, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. In Kenya, it's Christmas Day, and maybe in Australia, and especially in China,
they're still waiting.
They're still waiting for the new year.
I can imagine. So those that are still waiting to see the new year, we wish you a really happy new year. And
in our show today, we continue with the story of the diaspora. We bring you very interesting conversations with 2 Kenyans. These are ladies, one who spent almost 30 years in Europe, and she's decided to come back. Another one in America. This is part of what we call the diaspora returnee. These are people who've done stuff abroad, but now they're coming back to be part of what we call the new Kenya, building the Kenya that we love.
East or West, home is the best. So enjoy the show.
I've lived in Europe for a long time, in Germany for 22 years and in Norway for 7 years. So that's a total of about 29 years. I was just turned 21 when I went to Germany as an au pair. And of course, there's the culture shock when you get there, because it's a bit different, but I was expecting it. I mean, I'd taken some time to prepare, to know how Germany is. So there were some things which I had already expected. I was looking forward to the snow, and I went almost around that time. So it was different because there are a lot of things which were really, it's a first world, it's a very developed nation. And by the time I was living here in the 90s, things were a little bit different. So my experiences as a newcomer, the people were friendly. It was a bit hard communicating because most of the Germans speak German, and I didn't know the language well. So I went to school, learned fairly quickly the German language, and took a lot of interest. And as I knew the language more and more, I felt that it was helping me integrate better and understand the ways of life of Germany and mix up better with the people. So it made my life quite pretty easy.
The majority of Kenyans who migrate to Europe,
yes,
mostly they're young girls, young Kenyan women. Why is that the case?
I think it's because that's where the opportunity opens. Like you see, going as an au pair was really good because it's almost like a cultural exchange. And if you go using that route, you cannot be more than 25 years. Yeah, you have to be younger. And like for me, I saw it as an opportunity. So it will open a door for you because once you're there, you've learned the language, you're an au pair. You could go for now this 1 year bridging because we had just turned into the 844 system. So there's basically, it's like 1 year is missing in the A levels. And in Germany, you could do, you could do that year easily. And then if you're good enough, you can go to the university eventually. So I think like for me, I was saying it's a good stepping stone. I wanted to pursue my studies. And that was the best opportunity.
It's different, for instance, if somebody goes to Australia,
Yes.
US or Canada,
Yeah.
because Kenyans, we learn English from here.
Yeah.
But if you go to Europe, for
Yes.
instance, apart from UK,
Yes.
you're going to study. What time period do you have to learn the language first before you even start your course?
I think if you're somebody who really pursues, there are some people who are go-getters, then you're able to learn that language enough to do the exam and go to, and enter a good college within a year. Yeah, so you just need about a year. Of course, you won't be able to speak it like we speak English, because we've spoken it all our life, but you're able. But there's still some people who take even 10 years, 20 years before learning the language of the country they live in. So I think it depends on your personal interests and what you're pursuing.
For those young Kenyans watching you, who also want to go and find their dream away from home, what would you say are the main challenges that they need to look forward to?
I think it would do people good if by the time you're going there, you have taken the time at least to learn a little bit about their country, the country you're moving to. It will save you quite a lot, because sometimes people get really challenged when they go and expect things around like sometimes we run them here. Because like there you see the issue of about like keeping time and what have you. Those are aspects which you really have to know that you don't have any other way. You just have to learn to keep the time. Yeah, and many other things. Like I've said, the language is something you have to, to be ready to learn if you really want good opportunities, if you want to study, if you want a proper job. Then learn about the culture of the country you're going to. And I'm saying this because I've migrated, though I spent, like I said, I spent 22 years in Germany. But again, when I went to Norway, I couldn't go there assuming that Norway is like Germany. Yeah, ni Ulaya pia bado, but it's totally different. Yeah, their cultures are also different, so try to know the culture of the people. So again, although I spoke German, it wouldn't help me so much in Norway. I had to learn also Norwegian. So meaning I had to go to school the first 6 months to learn the Norwegian language, so that I can be able to, to integrate into the community, so that I can be able to work, study, and do all the things which had taken me there, and also interact with my family, because the reason I migrated to Norway is because of marriage.
And of course, you went to school, you raised a family there. Again, for just our young Kenyans, because I've heard this question so much, that people say that these days our young people,
Yes.
the TikTok generation,
Yes.
they make friendship on Facebook,
Yes. Yeah.
and based on that,
Yes.
somebody just wakes up and relocates to Germany,
Yes.
only to get there and find that the person that was speaking to on Facebook is a 90-year-old Mzungu.
Yes.
It becomes such a frustrating experience.
Yes.
What would be your advice to those young people who think that they're just men there with a lot of money waiting to change their lives?
No. Yeah, that's false to think that way. It's not that the people are there with money just waiting for a girl to marry and change their lives. And like you've said, yes, it's true. There are quite a lot of these cases where people go and get shocks. But I think it's because people are not doing their due diligence. I mean, even in Kenya, why would you just meet a stranger online and go by that word? And then for a journey to Germany, for a stranger who you don't know. But again, I look at it this way, it's the desperation these young people are frustrated because sometimes a lot of them don't have jobs.
Yeah.
So they're like, you can ask them, and most of them are like, even if I stay here, there is nothing, so I better go there and try. Yeah, it's better I come out, I have tried, but if I stay here, what do I have? So my advice would be more to maybe to the Kenyan government or the stakeholders of development in Kenya to really, really look at a priority of making sure that our youths can really be helped to get jobs here in Kenya. And now my decision to enter the political space is because I realized the things which I've really wanted to impart and do together with the community. Though the community is ready, I feel like there are a lot of things which are still not being done in a way that people recognize the times we are living in. Because like somewhere like Taita Taveta, where we are next to the national park and where climate change has not only affected our farming practices, but has also brought new conflicts like human-wildlife conflict, or some areas up in the hills where water sources are getting drier. I still feel like it is the same language being used by leaders. They are still doing things like as usual.
Are you running to be an MP, a governor, or the president of the Republic of Kenya?
I'm running to be the governor of Taita Taveta.
Of Taita Taveta.
Yes, I know the time is now. I know the community really well. I've transversed it for quite a long time, and I know the areas together with the people. Like right now, I'm not coming to tell the people this is how you have to go in order to get development, but I've taken the time to listen to the people, to be able to have a manifesto that is transformational, because it is very much people oriented, and it has been built by me and the people together.
Awesome. Viewers, this is one of the diaspora who lived so many years abroad, and they're back here now. They're bringing all that experience and a worldview to change the communities back at home. As she said, she runs a community-based organization in Taita, but she made a decision to also now go for the leadership. That's very important, especially for the diaspora, because one of the things that we are encouraging people living away from home is that you bring home all this money, and as they always say, if you're not at the table, you are definitely on the table. So if you don't take part in politics and claim your stakes, you'll always still be a stranger in your own country, like they did with Major General Miguna. Remember, this is 2022, and in 8 months from now, we are going to have elections, and I know that many people from the diaspora who are coming home to contest different seats. This is your show, and pay very keen attention, because there's also opportunity back here.
Our next story is of a Kenyan lady by name Dr. Lucy Mckenzie. She's been away from Kenya for 34 solid years, and Lucy gives us an overview of how she picked up her life immediately she settled in the US. And can you believe she went to the US when she was just 18? So she has a massive experience when it comes to the diaspora.
I went to Nairobi Primary, and for secondary I went to Oshawa Girls, and then for my Form 5 and 6 I went to Jamhuri High School. But I have lived in the US longer than I have lived in Kenya.
When did you move to the US?
In 1988. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's close to 34 years?
Yes.
Tell me, what made you go to the US?
After finishing Form 5 and 6, I got a small job at British Airways.
Yeah.
And I knew for a fact that I wanted to go to university. At that time, we only had, I think, 3 local universities that were government, and a few that were coming up as the private universities.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to go to college, and I did not want to do a secretarial course. I wanted to go and do computer science. Computers were beginning to be big in Kenya.
Yeah.
So it was something that I really wanted to do.
From the day you landed in the US?
Yes.
Yeah. Besides you were working with British Airways?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me your experience.
Working with British Airways was such an eye-opener.
Yeah.
It was an opportunity to see people like myself being able to travel. And I enjoyed the customer service that we were providing. And I knew I wanted to fly out of Kenya. I flew out in January.
Yeah.
And you know, now the good thing with Google, you can Google and find out what's the weather like in Texas, or what's the weather like in Pennsylvania or Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, I did not do my homework. So I landed in the middle of winter in Slippery Rock. But my airport was Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It was 3 hours away from my college. When I arrived, I was in my little nice cute sweater and some little white cute shoes.
Yeah.
And when the driver came to pick me up, he looked at me and said, "Did you not know where you were going?"
How are you dressed?
I was really not dressed appropriately for the weather.
So you started seeing a different world immediately you landed?
Right from the first day. It was cold.
Yeah.
And then you are in the middle of a place where there's not enough black people.
Oh, I see.
I went to a college that only had 30 to 40 black people in a school of over 8,000 students.
Wow.
So in the middle of nowhere.
Did you feel safe being the fewer, you know, the minority in that college?
When you're in Kenya,
Yeah.
you don't feel as like a minority. You don't feel that even when you see white people, you don't feel like you're different. When you land there,
Yeah.
that's when you realize how different you are.
How black you are.
How black you are,
Yeah.
how much you have an accent.
Oh, yeah.
All these other differences become something that begins to become obvious. But when you're in Kenya, I mean, we have white people who live here and have lived in Kenya for a long time.
Yeah.
We don't see difference. I went to a school that had white kids, that had Indian kids, but I didn't see them different, and I don't think they saw me different because we were in Kenya.
So tell me about your life now, getting to the US, you know, it's a new environment. How did it start? Where did you start? How was it?
In terms of school, you find out that students bring their breakfast to class. Okay, in Kenya, we don't do that. If you want to answer a question, you lift your hand up, and when you're told it's your turn, you respond. There, students just speak out. They bring breakfast to class. They come sometimes in their pajamas.
And it's okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And so those are some of those culture shocks that you find that you will experience when you get to the US. And for me, because I have, you know, having been brought in this culture, when the instructor would say, like this, he would give an example, like this African girl who doesn't understand English. I couldn't tell him, really, in Kenya, we do speak English.
Yeah.
Until it was time for him to give us an exam. And in class, you're sitting in an auditorium, he's handing out the papers, and he kept expecting that my paper would have been in the low marks.
Wow.
Until he got to mine, and he couldn't even pronounce my last name. And he's like, all this time you have understood when I say you don't understand English? And I said, yes. Why didn't you say anything? Because we don't say those, we don't speak back to our teachers. But now cultures are changing. Even students who are in school now, they are able to respond to their teachers, you know. I have seen students in Brookhaven, they speak back to their teachers, and it's not disrespectful, but they make themselves heard, which is not how we grew up. Then I worked in the kitchen as an international student. We used to wash the plates and pans because they didn't want us serving in the front. So we've done very many odd jobs to get to where we are.
Talking about odd jobs, perhaps, I remember you telling me about a security job.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me what it entailed.
You know, we call it security jobs in the US, and probably in the UK. But in Kenya, you call them watchmen and watchwomen, and so that's what we did. I remember when my mom came in 1992, she was very clear you're making $7 an hour. There's got to be more that can be made.
Yeah.
But you can only make more if you have a career.
Yeah.
And that career, you have to go to school to get what it is that will get you to that level where you are able to command those kind of dollars. And so we took that challenge very seriously because she said, once you're a security guard now, what is the next step from where you are to become a supervisor? So most of us wanted to really get to that supervisory level
so that you can earn
make a little bit more money, like $12,
Yeah.
$14. She said, when you get to that level, they will hire 2 people to make your salary. And it made a lot of sense. Yes.
How did you fit into the social scene?
It's interesting. In Kenya, when you get to a certain age, when you're in your late 20s, you get reminded that you need to get married.
Oh, yeah.
And you need to have children. But for us there, I think time seems sometimes to kind of stand still. It's moving, but you are more driven to doing whatever it is that you want to achieve.
To sell.
Yes. And so for somebody like me, I can say I'm a late bloomer when it comes to getting married, because I got married in my 40s. And life still goes on.
Do you regret being a late bloomer in marriage?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
So
there were circumstances that led to that, but I don't regret it at all.
I'll be interested to know how you met your husband. You told me he's Jamaican.
He is.
Tell me about him more.
I ran from Kenya. Kenyans, we are a marathoners, and they are short runners. So he ran all the way from Jamaica, and we met in Texas. But really, it was interesting how we met. My brother was living in Texas, so I moved to Texas to be with him and watch over him. I know if he sees that, he'll be like, "You are really watching over me," but it's okay. So
I hope he watches this.
Yes. So his former teacher was. We went to her house for Christmas. And my unknown husband to be also was invited to this Christmas party. And he didn't know many of the people there. He knew the son from that house, and I was already there, but we were sitting watching football. And after saying hello to everybody, he went to the kitchen to help my mom to prepare lunch, because it was a luncheon. And he helped set up everything, and then after we finished eating, he was there helping cleaning, and I'm thinking, dude, where did you fall from?
From heaven, just for you. It's become history.
It has become history.
Tell me about family. You guys have kids or something?
Yes, we do have 4 children. We are a mixed family. That's another good thing about living in the diaspora. This is not usually a big deal. So I have 1 son, and he had 3. So in total, we have 4 boys, and we have 4 grandbabies.
You are the chair for Kenya, North America?
Yes.
Diaspora?
SACCO. Yes.
For how long have you been chair for that SACCO?
Since 2018, so 4 years.
This 4 years now.
Yes.
How has it been?
It has been an interesting journey. So our SACCO was founded in 2016 in terms of when it was first just a random post on social media. And then 8 of us got together and ran with a vision. And we collaborated and worked hard and got registered in 2016 November. We have over 1,800 members, and when they talk about the diaspora remittances, we are right there in the mix of this, because we've been able to mobilize close to 700 million in that 4 years. So. And today they talk about the diaspora will have remitted by the end of this year $4.1 billion.
Wow.
And so we can see that those kind of organizations, SACCOs, are part of this story of the diaspora remittances.
What is it you would attribute to being a Kenyan?
Being Kenyan, there's a lot of excuse of why we go to places late. We attend functions. I'm supposed to be there at 8, at 8 is when I'm leaving my house, and I'll show up and I will have zero apologies. The point is I'm already there, so don't complain, which is not something that is taken very well. However, that is a habit that we don't seem to get rid of even when we go over there. When you go to a Kenyan-led function, the likelihood of it starting late is very high. To the point now, cards have to be, you have to be invited. There's 2 sets of cards.
Yeah.
There's the cards for the Kenyans and the Africans. You will be told the function starts at 11.
Yeah.
Because we know you will actually show up at 2. But the real people who actually show up at 2 will get a card inviting them at 2 o'clock as the start time. So some of these things are an inconvenience.
Yeah.
But you know, the good thing is we are never late for work.
That brings us to the end of our show today. But Pastor, before I sign off,
Yes.
Unfortunately, this is my last day to host the show with you at Jamhuri ya
Already
Kenya.
gone.
Lakini
gosh.
nimefurahi sana. Nimekula sinono tumbo vile nakaa.
Umenona kweli kweli.
Wacha nirudi kwa chakula mbaya. Hii chakula yetu ni mzuri, but as it is, this show continues. So I'll be back there and you'll be back here. It's been a pleasure. You've been awesome. You bring a lot of stamina, a lot of glamour to the show, and I can't thank God enough for you. So stay well, sister, but let's keep in touch.
Thank you.
If you have a story that is interesting that you'd like to share with our viewers, I'll be there wherever it is. This show is not just about Europe or America, it's everywhere where the diaspora live. And I promise you, get in touch with me. I'll enter a plane and come and record your show, your story, and share with our viewers. It's been great. It's been a good start.
So until next time, enjoy.
Bye-bye. Kwaheri ya kuonana.